Lieutenant Mira Reed awoke with a splitting headache and a taste in her mouth like she'd been licking the inside of an old combat boot. The alien holding cell was dimly lit with a sickly green glow that seemed to pulse in time with the throbbing behind her eyes. "Fascinating," a voice rasped from beyond the transparent barrier. "The human still functions." Mira blinked away the blur from her vision to find 3 Vexari scientists watching her with their bulbous, milky eyes. The tallest wore an ornate collar that marked it as Chief Scientist Zul. The Alliance intelligence briefings had been thorough. "Your species truly is remarkable," Zul continued, mandibles clicking with excitement. "The toxin should have liquefied your nervous system by now." Mira sat up slowly, hiding her smile. The aliens had made the same mistake that every hostile species seemed to make when encountering humans, underestimating their resilience. "What dosage did you administer?" she asked casually, taking stock of her surroundings. "Standard Vexari. Detention cell. 1 force field. No physical restraints. Sloppy. Enough to kill a Craxian war beast," the scientist responded proudly. 3 times over." Mira nodded, then made a show of stretching her arms over her head and yawning. "I'm actually feeling pretty refreshed. Like a power nap, you know?" The scientists chittered nervously amongst themselves. This wasn't in their manual. What they didn't know, what none of Earth's enemies seemed to grasp, was that humans had evolved on a planet that had tried to kill them in every conceivable way for millions of years. Their biochemistry was a fortress of redundancies and adaptations, and military personnel like Mira had been given additional enhancements. The nanites in her bloodstream were already neutralizing the toxin, repurposing its components for her benefit. What the Vexari had intended as a lethal poison was essentially serving as a strong cup of coffee. "I should thank you," Mira said, getting to her feet. "I was feeling a bit sluggish after that firefight earlier." The 3 scientists backed away from the force field. "Impossible," hissed the smallest one. "Our data indicates—" "Your data is incomplete," Mira interrupted. "But don't feel bad. Everyone makes that mistake the first time they encounter us." She approached the barrier, examining the control panel on the other side. Standard Vexari encryption. She'd studied it extensively during her infiltration training. "You are still our prisoner," Zul said, trying to sound authoritative despite the tremor in his voice. "This holding cell is impenetrable." Mira smiled politely. "About that, there's something you should know about humans." She pressed her palm against the force field. The nanites in her system, now supercharged by the compounds they'd harvested from the toxin, interfaced with the energy barrier. The field flickered, then collapsed. "We adapt." The smallest scientist screeched and ran for the door. The middle one fumbled for a weapon. Zul stood frozen, mandibles slack with shock. "Also," Mira added, stepping through the deactivated barrier, "we're really good at turning your advantages against you." What followed was embarrassingly one-sided. Even without her standard-issue combat gear, Mira was more than a match for the 3 scientists. She left them unconscious but alive, Alliance protocol for non-combatants, and retrieved her equipment from a nearby storage locker. Checking her tactical display, she confirmed that the detention block was part of the main Vexari research facility, the same one her team had been sent to infiltrate before their transport was shot down. The mission parameters hadn't changed. Locate the bioweapon research lab and ensure it couldn't be used against Alliance worlds. Mira moved through the facility like a ghost, her training and augmentations allowing her to avoid or neutralize security with minimal effort. The Vexari, overconfident in their toxin's effectiveness, had already lowered their alert level. Their mistake. In the central laboratory, Mira found what she was looking for, and more. Not just bioweapons research, but plans for deployment against human colonies. The Vexari had been planning this for years. "Not today," she muttered, setting up her equipment. The quantum disruptor would destroy the facility's data cores while leaving the structure intact. No need for excessive casualties. Alliance intelligence would want to study this place afterward. As she worked, an alarm finally sounded. Better late than never, she supposed. "Attention all personnel," a voice announced in the harsh Vexari language. Human intruder detected him. Research sector. Security protocols engaged. Mira finished the disruptor's calibration and set the timer. 3 minutes should be enough. Armed guards poured into the lab, weapons raised. Mira raised her hand slowly. You should evacuate, she advised them. That's what I'm doing. The guards hesitated, confused by her calm demeanor. The human prisoner. One of them recognized her. How did you? Like I told your scientists, Mira said. We adapt. She triggered the smoke grenades on her belt. In the confusion, she slipped past the guards and sprinted toward the emergency exit she'd identified earlier. Behind her, the quantum disruptor counted down. From a safe distance in the dense forest surrounding the facility, Mira watched as the disruptor activated. There was no explosion, no fire, just a silent pulse of blue energy that rippled through the structure. Inside, every data core, every research terminal, every stored sample of the bioweapon would now be reduced to its component atoms. Years of research and planning gone in an instant. Her comm unit beeped. Alliance forces responding to her emergency beacon were inbound, mission accomplished. Mira allowed herself a small smile as she watched confused Vexari personnel evacuating the now useless facility. Perhaps this would teach them, and others, to reconsider their assessment of humanity's capabilities. The toxin had been meant to kill her. Instead, she'd used it to fuel her escape and accomplish her mission. That was the thing about humans that the rest of the galaxy was still struggling to understand. They didn't just survive adversity, they thrived on it. They adapted to it, they weaponized it. And that was why, despite being newcomers to the galactic stage, humans were already gaining a fearsome reputation. Not because they were the strongest or the most advanced, but because they were the most resilient. The Vexari had toxified a human soldier. She had taken a nap. Then she had erased their base.